Every high school athlete wants to leave their mark on their high school after they have graduated. They want to be able to come back in the future and be able to point to a plaque, picture, or trophy and say, I was a part of that team. In the past, a high school sports season without a postseason would only occur if your football team did not make the playoffs. But for every other sport in high school, each team makes a regional where their postseason starts. It was only up until COVID that this all changed. The sports season played limited games with no fans and no chance to make their mark. The playoffs and postseason for high school sports gives some students a reason and purpose to play, and it was just over 2 years ago when the global pandemic hit, and the pandemic ended up canceling the 2020 spring sports seasons for sports including baseball, softball, girls soccer, and track and field. Most or all of us know someone or multiple people that missed out on playing their last high school game or competing in their last event due to this pandemic. My name is Joey Sprinkle, and today I will be explaining why a postseason in high school sports is necessary through points including reasons to play, COVID, and making history. The postseason gives many players motivation and a reason to play because through the playoffs you are able to achieve big goals, and this feeds into making history, and all of this had been canceled a few short years ago by COVID. The global pandemic allowed me to open my eyes to this idea because I had to watch as many of my senior friends played their sports with a shortened season, and it was hard for many of them to find motivation. The coronavirus pandemic caused massive public fear and concern, becoming the world's leading health problem, closing down schools and businesses around the globe. Due to the rapid spread of the coronavirus, the spring 2020 sports seasons nationwide were canceled. This event came upon us very quickly and left us without an idea of what to do. These unfortunate events caused an abrupt end to many seniors' careers and only limited their chances to play in college, if they had wishes to do so. According to an article, Health and Well-Being of Athletes During the Coronavirus Pandemic, a scoping review published to the Frontiers in Public Health by Raven Hahn and Associates, it states, global health recommendations have led to the cancellation and postponements of numerous athletic events in order to social distance and in an attempt to limit the spread of the virus. These recommendations were the hardest to deal with in the 2020-2021 sports seasons because we were allowed to play some games, but there were limited fans and each player had to wear a mask, thus altering the environment and changing the entire feel of the game. This only strengthened the unmotivated feelings of these seniors. The pandemic took away many seniors' last chance to win a state championship and for their city. A postseason gives athletes motivation and a reason to play, according to an article titled "No Fans, No Playoffs, So What's Motivating High School Athletes This Year?" written by Steve Craig and published in the Press Herald on January 31st, 2021. It states, for high school athletes, the dream of hitting the big shot or scoring the winning goal in the playoffs, or simply being a part of an event that draws thousands of fans, can be a strong motivating force. For some athletes in high school, they enjoy just getting the opportunity to play sports and don't really care what happens in the end. But for many kids, they play to try and make history or be among the best athletes to go through their school. Having a postseason for high school sports also brings along motivation, as athletes will have to put in more work in the off-season or put in work on their own time to reach their goals they have set for themselves or their team. With this motivation, a true love for the sport comes. Because putting all that time and effort in would only be a waste of time if you did not like the sport in the beginning. Finally, for my last point, I believe that the postseason is a necessity because it provides athletes with a chance to make history in their city. Every athlete dreams of making history and leaving their mark as they leave high school. In my high school athletic career, I've had the opportunity of being a part the first ever football team to win a state championship, and now my senior year being a part of the greatest basketball team to walk the halls of Monticello. Being able to be a part of these teams only made me grow to love these sports more, and it feels as if it gave the season a meaning. The chance to be a part of a team that'll live forever in a school's name is one of the best feelings a high schooler can experience. According to an article written by NCSA, an organization that connects high school and middle school athletes to college coaches, in sports including both men's and women's, baseball, softball, basketball, soccer, and track and field, while also including football and volleyball, there are nearly 8 million high school athletes across the nation. All these athletes have one goal in mind for their postseason. And it is to win a state championship. Now, only a handful of these teams across the nation can accomplish this task. Everyone would love the opportunity. In conclusion, the postseason in high school sports is necessary In conclusion, the postseason in high school sports is necessary for many reasons, and while we took what we could get with the shortened COVID seasons, many were still left with the main question of what if. What if the football team went into the playoffs? How far would they go? Or what if the boys cross country team was able to win back-to-back state champions? Or what if the girls could redeem themselves and take home first this year? All these questions, yet no one would ever know the answer. This experience really showed the value that the postseason possesses and its influence on high school sports history. Without the postseason, many good athletes don't get the opportunity to experience the thrill and challenge of the state playoffs, and that's not fair to themselves or their teams who have put in the work